phone, my watch, and that clock due to the daylight savings time, but Verizon says it's time. So before we do our opening for our regular meeting, we had one of the items on our agenda tonight is an annexation petition request for a piece of property to be annexed into the city under light industrial zoning. As part of the process of doing that, we have to advertise that as a notice in the newspaper. And part of that notice is to invite people to come to the city council and express any concerns or that they might have on that process. So that's what this hearing is. This point before the meeting is the opportunity for anybody to address the council relative to that annexation of property. Is there anybody that wants to speak to the council on that issue? All right. Hearing none, then we will roll right into our regular meeting with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Here.
Commissioner Barwick.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here, if you'd all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Which Boy Scout is here that would like to lead us? Do I have a volunteer? Take it away.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know what's that? What's that? We got a one-way meet. It's been like 6 years.
Jeff? I am joined by Jeff Shore, who is with DCFS and is part of the effort to raise awareness with National Adoption Week. Am I saying that right?
That's correct.
Or National Adoption Day, I should say. And we, in the past, have issued a proclamation recognizing this, and I want to do so again this year, and I'll do that by reading the proclamation. Whereas the city of Marion, Illinois recognizes the importance of giving children permanent, safe, and loving families through adoption, and the thanks to thousands of adoptive parents across the state, 16,889 children have found permanent homes over the last decade, including 1,786 children in the last year alone. And whereas there are currently nearly 2,200 children awaiting adoption across the state of all ages, backgrounds, and needs, and to help these children find permanent, nurturing families, the local courts of Marion, Illinois will open their doors on Friday, November 19th, 2021, in celebration of National Adoption Day, to finalize the adoptions of local children and join other organizations to celebrate all adoptions. And whereas this effort, along with similar celebrations in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Guam, and Puerto Rico, will offer children the chance to live with stable and loving families and encourage other dedicated individuals to make a powerful difference in the life of a child through adoption. Now, therefore, I, Michael Absher, Mayor of the City of Marion, Illinois, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim Friday, November 19th, 2021, as National Adoption Day in Marion, Illinois, and in so doing, urge all citizens to join in this national effort to raise awareness about the importance of adoption. Thank you. You want to speak? Say anything?
Mayor, City Council, thank you very much for recognizing DCFS and our efforts with National Adoption Day. This is the third year that we've recognized National Adoption Day. We didn't do it last year due to COVID. This year we anticipate somewhere between 22 to 24 children to be adopted. The only thing we're going to be doing different this year is that some of the activities that we did 2 years ago involving the high school choir, high school art, and other community organizations, they will not be present due to COVID concerns. We want to make sure we're going to be able to have a safe environment. And the decision was made that we thought 1 year off was 1 year too long. So we're going to go back and recognize it again. And again, thank you very much for recognizing us. Thank you.
Will you guys be posting those pictures on Facebook? I know it's really touching, and those pictures that have been on Facebook in the past at court when all the kids get adopted and all that.
Yes, we plan on, we'll post them again this year.
Great. Well, thank you for coming, and thank you for your efforts.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, moving on to item 4 on our agenda is our public comments and audience to visitors. This is the opportunity for anybody from the public to address the council with your concerns or announcements. And this is subject to regulation by Ordinance 3128 and amended by Ordinance 3134, both of which have copies on the front desk here by that plant. So now's that opportunity for anybody that'd like to address the council. I know of one that let me know ahead of time. Is there, other than Bo, is there anybody else that'd like to address the council tonight? Okay, Bo. Come on.
Actually, let me just move this chair. It's something I want to explain to you anyway. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I want to thank the Mayor and the Council for allowing me the opportunity to address you tonight, and I want to also thank you. I just came back here about 4 months ago for the first time in several years. I've been out working around the country for different cardiology departments throughout hospitals. And I contracted this unknown diagnosed autoimmune disease back in December of 2019. They thought it was gout in my right ankle. And 4 months later, I was put in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, never to stand and walk again. I was told a year and a half ago I had 2 weeks to live. I'm still here. I was brought back here 4 months ago, rescued by a couple of friends, and I hadn't spoken to since '86 in high school. They realized what I was going through. Since I've been back, I've noticed a lot of changes, and I really want to thank you guys for being as aggressive as you've been, as much as you can be, to make changes in this town. I've been driving around and seen a lot of changes, and of course some things never change, but I've noticed that, you know, like tonight, for example, you opened up with a Pledge of Allegiance. That's wonderful. I don't recall that ever happening in previous board meetings when I came. And the park looks great, by the way. I told your employees out there they're doing a great job. And rebuilding downtown and the painting's wonderful. You guys are doing a fantastic job. But I came here tonight to represent Global Mission Care Foundation. It's a new charity foundation that's been filed with the state of Illinois, a 501(c)(3). We're wanting to relocate our world headquarters here in Marion, Illinois next year. We've got many people across the nation that's involved with this: doctors, hospitals, local organizations, civic organizations, colleges. And what our goal is to bring awareness to people with undiagnosed or unresponded needs. Our point is to meet them at their point of need, not vice versa. So we've collaborated with many hospitals throughout the country, and we've got many board chairmen, as we said here. And we're going to be announcing this tomorrow night at the Pavilion at Williamson County, or here in the city of Marion now, tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Our intentions are to inform the public about a law that can be fixed very simply. It's been confirmed by the White House, Washington, D.C. It's been confirmed by an investigative reporter out of Cincinnati. I gave you guys a copy of the article, and I've mentioned it on my Facebook page many, many times. This law affects every American woman, man, and child in this country, no matter what kind of insurance you have. They're all 100% the same way. To bill for a code, to have a procedure done, or medication, or anything you need, you have to have a billing code. Those requirements, those billing codes, are set by the federal government. Now, I've been in communication with the Director Secretary of Medicare in Washington, D.C. I spoke to several congressmen. I spoke to reporters across the nation. I've been sent to every hospital in this country. They've either seen my reports or they've seen me physically. Now, since the last 4 months has occurred, we have found out more background information, statistics from the government we've been given. This affects over 15.5 million suffering men, women, and children in this country. It affects every one of us because our insurance will not cover us. If you go to the doctor, they think they have gout in your right ankle, like me. 4 months later, you're put in a wheelchair and left to die. My organs were shutting down. 6 months ago, I had 30% cognitive ability. I showed my assistant here some pictures tonight of what I looked like 6 months ago. He couldn't believe it. He thought I was drunk. Bent over, fell in the floor. It wasn't. My brain didn't function. My organs were shutting down. I was given 2 weeks to live. I had no memory at all. I couldn't write for the first time for 3.5 years until about 8 weeks ago. I'm joint to joint in every joint in my body. No cartilage at all. My muscles and nerves fire 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, so I lose between 2 and 8 pounds a night when I sleep. They can't fix me. I've been to Mayo, John Cochrane, every major university hospital in this country. They've either seen my charts or communicated with me and seen me. There's no cure. But fortunately, I came back here 4 months ago, met some of my friends I used to do business with years ago in various industries, and met with some medical people I knew. We came up with all natural vitamin herb supplement that you can take. This was verified last week in Ohio with a specialist, the best in the country. It works. It makes your body, autoimmune system, kick in and do what it's supposed to do if you have no immune system. It's called GMC 7.4. It's designed by a charity. It's going to be given to the public for free once it's released from the FDA. This will save millions of people. It affects everybody. If it worked on me, it should work on others. They just have to find the right combination. There's no medication. I was on 13 major lethal doses of medication, fentanyl, diazepam. I got a list of my doctor's reports here if you guys want to see them. I'm completely transparent. It's not my words, it's theirs. Again, we have an investigative report that's confirmed all this. The White House has confirmed this. It's a real thing. There's 2.4 people dying every second, 24 hours a day, non-stop in this country. That's over 6,000 people an hour dying because of this disease. They can't get their medical health insurance to pay for anything. Why? Because they're undiagnosed. My daughter did the same thing. She was born with a different disease, but she died when 3 weeks before she turned 3 in my arms. We couldn't get help from the insurance company because she was undiagnosed. You remember Wendell Fisher, the county commissioner I worked with? He had a grandson the same way, Josh. God bless him, he passed away too. We used to trade supplies in the Jack family from Energy. We trade medical supplies between our children. We had a little train going. If we needed supplies, catheters, whatever, because one of us may have 50 of them, or may not need them for weeks. So the state wouldn't give us what we needed for our children, so we traded those supplies out. Well, that was an idea I had many years ago, and I tried it in Ohio when I was up there working for a hospital. In 3 weeks, I had my garage full of medical equipment and devices. We've got a company out of Columbus that's a major nationwide logistics company that's going to pick these devices up, bring them in. We've got a hazmat team, a bioscience team to look at them, repair them, make sure they're certified, and they're distributed back to people free of charge. No pickup cost, no drop-off cost. It's all certified. This is going to be completely out of control. I started this by myself in my garage. Sound familiar? Like a computer, I guess. But anyway, what has happened in the last 2.5 years, I've came back from the dead. The doctors have declared me one of the world 5 times now. Last week I was told a true living miracle because why? We believe we found a cure. We want to bring our headquarters here because our mission is to help everyone. We've made agreements with community colleges, with governments, agencies, with other nonprofit organizations. What we're going to do is we look for people that are in need. We meet them at their point of need. If they need housing, we find them housing. If they need food, we find them food. But the most important thing is we're trying to teach them how to fish. So if they got a talent or a passion to do something, whether it's to be a mechanic, a salesman, an artist, a musician, anything, computer programmer, or even a doctor, we will find them funding through grant monies, scholarships that we've designed. They'll be sent to college for free in their expertise of their passion, so we get the best of the best we can get. We provide them housing, we'll provide them food, until they're able to become productive citizens and change their lives as well as everybody else's along the way. So we're kind of a one-house-stop shop is what we're planning on doing. We've also made an agreement with some university students at Xavier University in Ohio, which is one of the elite universities in the country. We've picked out 3 of the most brilliant students in journalism. We have got agreements to open up a new world news channel, global. It's going to be located here at the charity firm at GMCF. That'll happen also next year some point in time. We'd love to be here in Marion from my home, if we get the cooperation and the help. But we need to get this law changed right away to help these people who are suffering and paying for their insurance and not receiving the benefit. Why? Because they're undiagnosed. That's what this meeting is tomorrow night at the pavilion. I've been trying to explain to everyone and how important it is. Because again, next week if you have a grandchild born or a nephew or niece, I hope pray not, it could be them. Or you can go to the doctor yourself next week if you have gout. Guess what? May not be. You'll be in the same position we've been in. We're dying every 2.4 every second of every day. This has been out there for 2 years now. Major networks have seen this. At first they reluctantly printed or talk about it because they said it was political. It's not political. This is not Democrat. We're talking about men, women, little boys and girls that's worked, paid for their insurance, paid double in some cases, and still not qualified. The article states the truth. It's been confirmed by D.C. an investigative reporter. You will not be covered. How does this get changed? The director's office in D.C. and President Trump's secretary at the time told me, which I had a meeting with. I'm still on the charts and the books in the White House. People think I'm crazy. I'm not. Everything I say is absolutely true. It can be verified by government records, hospital records, whatever you want. It's absolutely true, folks. Signature of the president. I can't sue Medicare. We can't sue the Congress. It takes an executive order from the president. A simple piece of paper, a few ordinary pens, and stroke of his signature will make this end forever and ever and never happen again. It affects every insurance company in the country overnight. How we pay for it? We pay for it with attrition after a period of time. They're talking about tax structure now and cutbacks, but we spend over $40 billion a year out of other countries across seas. Some of them are friends, some of them are not. All we ask for is 10%. $4 billion will fund this for the first year and a half. That gives us time to build a tax structure in and find a way to fund it through our attrition and through our workforce. And that's why we've designed our charity in a form that we could produce a workforce to help offset some of that cost. We expect the charity to be located in every state within the first 3 years. I've got commitments from several major hospitals to let me utilize their property. So this is a major, major ordeal. Don't look at me as a man. I'm just carrying a message. I've got a lot of people that's involved in this now, but no one here wants to listen for some reason. I post all the media and the news locally. They won't read the documentation I placed in front of you. They have me sign a HIPAA release from the medical records, which I've done as well, and everyone's welcome to see it. I take no medication now. I was on 13 major lethal medications at lethal doses. They told me if I would have taken aspirin down here at CVS Pharmacy, I would have died in my sleep. So I took myself off those medications over a period of time. It's been proven to be healthier. I've changed my diet, started this program, GMC 7.4. Again, I've been certified being 5th time, won the world, a little true living miracle and a cure for my disease. I'm not back to myself yet, but I'm growing muscle now. I've got biceps. I'm standing, walking, talking, and thinking. I couldn't do that just 5 months ago. All I ask for is your support and your time to attend this meeting tomorrow night or have representation there for you, because it affects everyone in this room. Every one of those boys right there in Boy Scouts, it affects you guys too. Every woman, man, and child in this country, no matter what kind of insurance you have, if you come with an undiagnosed disease or born with one, you will not be covered. That means women, mothers have to quit their jobs, take care of their sick children, and they have to lose their home. That's why 70% of people, marriage couples that have disabled children, they divorce. 70%, think about that. 70%, holy matrimony. Split up over a sick child because why? It's financial strain. Because the insurance company is not paying for the medical bills that they bought the policy for, just because the doctors can't tell them what the disease they have. Now, doctors are practicing medicine with a degree. They'll tell you, they don't know everything. That's why we still have cancer and all those other diseases, COVID. They can't cure it. Who knows? Someone might down the road, if we invest the right money and time in the right person. And that's what our mission is all about, to help others. We make no money off this. Matter of fact, I spent every dime and gave everything away I own to make this happen. Not just because it's me. That's not why I'm cured. That's not why I'm standing here tonight. I put over 500 miles in my wheelchair to have a death hospital to realize I could go to St. Louis and back several times. It's time for me to take a stand for these people. 15 million of them, little boys and girls, veterans, Americans, fought for this country. It's time we all take a stand. Wouldn't you agree? Make a change. All it takes is a signature. That's it. Some time, some support, some nourishment for us, your support, to get the President Biden to sign this document. If not, I guarantee you I've got a pocket full of congressmen that want to come out if this doesn't work. They'll be the next president because they've guaranteed me to sign this document. We've got 20 million people in our pocket already. I've got over 7 million following me on Facebook. This is a real thing. I've got a new book coming out next year being published. Before Darkness There Was One. A lot of things happening in my life right now, towards the end. But I'll leave a legacy of helping others. We will, not me. My friends, my corporation, newly formed, and the new charity is going to be global very soon. So I'm here tonight to ask one more time of the public here in Marion, Southern Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, take a stand. We're talking about you, your children, your loved ones, your family, your friends. This affects 1 out of 8 American citizens in this country. Either know someone, relate to someone, directly connected, a child or spouse, or go to church with someone that knows someone in the same situation. 1 out of 8 in this country. This is the largest global, silent, rapidest growing killer on Earth. That's not my words, that's NORAD's. They're trying to fix this on a global perspective. We're only fixing it right here in the U.S. So again, thank you for your time. I thank you for all you've done, you're doing. The transparency is great. I love that. You've made some dramatic improvements there. But I just want to ask you all at least to consider the fact of what we're going through. Because next week or next month, it may be one of your family members. You're going to be sitting in the same situation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you all.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which is our consent agenda. We have items A through E. Anybody on the council want to remove any item or some sub-item A through E and vote upon those separately? Anyone in the council chambers wish any of these items to be taken on a separate vote, A through E, or any sub-item? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented, please.
I'll make a motion to pass consent agenda as presented.
I'd second that.
Any discussion on any of these items, A through E, or any sub-item thereof? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland?
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Moving on to new business under economic development and municipal planning, item 6A is the item that we opened the meeting with, the annexation. And that would be my motion to approve a petition to annex and rezone a portion of parcel 06-22-200-004 and a portion of parcel 06-22-200-005.
Second that.
Okay, any questions on this, council? And just as a clarification, when we talk about rezoning this, normally when we annex by default with our city code, it comes in as rural agriculture. As the zone, this request is to bring it in as LI or light industrial. So just as a point of clarification. Okay, if there's no questions or discussion, have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland?
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6B is similar item there, but it's creating a subdivision as platted in your packet as Main Street Marion subdivision. Got your legal description and a plat laid out there in the packet. So that would be the second step to this, is to accept their plat of this subdivision now that we've approved the annexation.
I would make a motion that we approve the subdivision platted as the Main Street Marion subdivision. I'll second.
Okay, any questions on this one? I think you got a bigger map. I know this one in the packet's a little small. This is a little bit bigger map here. Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland?
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6C, this property's already in city limits, but this is Craig Smith that owns the land, I guess, east of the Pet Wellness Center, south of the Pet Wellness Center, is looking to develop that land, and so he's wanting to potentially subdivide it, and that's what this action is to approve that plat, also which is in your packet. Woodlands Phase 1 subdivision, which implies there must be more than one phase. Okay. Just one piece of it? Okay.
Do we know where the road's gonna go that will service these? Okay. Okay.
Somebody care to make a motion on 6C?
I make a motion to approve a subdivision platted as the Woodlands Phase 1 subdivision.
I would second that.
Okay, any other questions or discussion on this one? Cody, how much land is still left in the rest of what I presume would be Phase 2 or on? I mean, because there's a lot more than just,
2 acre.
there's a lot of land there, right? Okay. Well, I hope he develops it.
And Mayor, just so you know, I will be abstaining on this one, because I'll be purchasing that property, so.
Okay.
Abstain this, so.
Moving your business there,
Uh,
sort of?
kind of, sort of,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. We had a motion in a second?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Abstain?
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Glenn? Where's he at? Oh, way back there. He's moved on me. You don't have to get up and come to the podium, but this resolution on, I mean, I know this Westminster project's been in the planning stages for a long, long time. Can you explain briefly the reallocation of Rebuild Illinois funds and why we're making that resolution?
The state of Illinois Department of Transportation has a 3-year program called Rebuild Illinois Funds, and they had to be used for specific construction projects. And the city gets 2 payments per year for 3 years, a total of about $1,300,000 plus or minus. And we set that aside, and for 3 years, it's a minimum fee to be allocated to be used to apply for the Westminster project.
Okay.
That's a resolution saying you're dedicating those funds for that project. And a separate allocation from the regular MFT funds that we normally get.
Okay. So in order to improve Westminster and to afford to be able to improve Westminster, we're reallocating those funds, and that's what's in your packet is this resolution. It's an IDOT form. Tammy, your name is spelled wrong on this form. I just noticed that.
Is it?
Might want to note that and change that for you.
I will. They spell yours wrong on all the forms.
Oh, I know they spell mine wrong, but I've never seen yours spelled wrong.
Should try having mine.
And just for clarity's sakes, the amount that is being reallocated is $1,133,086.38. That's going to be our part of our local share.
Then we'll get another 300,000 from IDOT,
Okay.
not for the project.
Okay.
Anything over that then comes out of our local tax fund.
And again, not really germane to this resolution per se, but just for public consumption, the improvement of that road is going to be timed to the replacement of the bridge, right? That has been changed? Okay.
And instead of that, those plans being incorporated into IDOT's plans for the bridge, Marion would be bidding it separately without being incorporated with the bridge project.
But is the timing roughly the same?
The timing is up to us now.
Okay.
They're still going to be bidding their bridge in July of next year. So it just, we would hope we would get our project starting in the spring, hopefully.
The spring of 23? A bid it. When would you anticipate the work actually commencing?
In the late spring of 2022.
Late spring of 2022. And how long do you think that project will take, including the bridge?
The bridge, I don't know what timing they have on that bridge. Brian, what time would you,
I thought it was like 18 months or something for that bridge job. I'm not sure.
not the bridge, but this Westminster.
Westminster, that's gonna be 9, 10 months. That'll be all next year's construction season.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of next year, it will be in place. That will be independent of what the state's doing with their bridge.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that the city's agreed to do is to shut down that road while the state's putting the bridge in. So they don't have to build a detour road bridge, put the new bridge in. So we've allowed them to shut the road down while they put the bridge in.
And I know I asked you about this, but I'm asking you again to confirm just for the public. I had a constituent contact me about a potential for a left turn lane northbound from Carbon onto Westminster to alleviate that, and you had, that is going to be, it's not there now, obviously, but that would be designed into that new intersection there. Okay, that's a good thing.
That turn lane added for the eastbound, the turn goes north.
Okay. Okay, would somebody care to make that motion on this resolution, please?
I'd
I'd
make
make
a
a motion that we would adopt Resolution 2021-23, allocating rebuild Illinois funds to the Westminster Road Project.
I'll second.
Anybody else have, I asked a whole bunch of questions. Anybody else have any comments or questions of Brian or Glenn?
Just, my only question is, our responsibility of our construction, obviously the road's already there, and curb's already there, storm sewer, so is ours mostly gonna be sidewalk and,
The storm sewer's not there,
oh, it's not there? True, okay.
curb and gutter's not there. So it'd be curb and gutter, storm sewer.
What's the,
Sidewalk, yeah, adding, well, that's new permanent signals at Carbon and Westminster with the turn lanes, with the widening of Westminster as well as accommodate that.
so that's gonna be a lot of our project, will be on the Westminster, not the bridge, but Carbon to West,
We're gonna stop just at Fossey, let's say, not exactly Fossey, but right there is where our project will go from Carbon all the way to Fossey.
okay, all right.
Do you anticipate that basically being a one-lane road while this construction is going on for all the residents that live there to get in and out? Because that's the only way. There's a,
There'll be sections that'll have to be that way for a short period of time while they are working.
We can't shut the road off and keep people from getting in. That's why the construction cost is gonna go up. Because they gotta do this in pieces.
Can you turn that thing on or off, one or the other, so it doesn't make that sound? Oh, that's so much better, thank you.
we need new fans.
Yeah, that thing is noisy. If you guys get hot, I'm sorry.
We don't have the right, we've got to acquire the right of way now.
I'm sorry, say that again?
We have to acquire the right of way for the portions that we're widening and for construction easements.
Is there going to be a lot of grade adjustment by any chance with that? I know that road has quite a change in grade but from the time, as you go westward from Carbon, so.
Yeah, not significant. I mean, working a widening into the existing grade and then, milling and resurfacing and widening, that's gonna be kind of tricky, but it's not, you're not gonna see a
Not dramatic, okay,
We have to hold the pre-loaded.
okay.
Will it be an 80,000-pound pavement, or?
No, we've not designed it for,
We're not putting any truck route funds or anything on it. There'll be 80,000 trucks on it.
Well, it's going to be, like every other construction project, a little messy and tenuous for a while, but it'll be a great improvement
We built
to that.
the same way, so it can be done.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay?
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6E is in your packet. We own this parcel, or purchase this parcel allows access on the east and the west of parcels that we already own, which is going to open that up for further development in there. And that would be my motion to approve purchase of 1006 South Duncan Street for $25,000.
Second that.
Any questions on this one? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay?
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6F, also my motion to approve TIF inducement resolutions.
Sorry to interrupt.
before,
The second entity for 2021-25, the name of the entity changed. That's the only thing that changed in this agreement. And I gave a corrected copy of that to Tammy earlier. But it's no longer Marion Center. It will be Marion South LLC. That's the only thing that changed.
okay, so Main Street Marion LLC still, that's the same.
Yes.
That's the first resolution, the second one, Marion South LLC respectively. But the language in the agreement is all the same.
Correct.
Okay. All right, it'd be my motion to approve TIF inducement resolutions 2021-24 with Main Street Marion LLC and 2021-25 with Marion South LLC as presented.
I would second that as well.
Okay, any questions on these? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Jim, do you
Yeah.
want to talk about this salt?
Yeah, that, annually, we purchase salt for, snow, during the snow removal, we had to put salt down to, de-ice the roads. And this is a price at $74.08 per ton. It was bid by the state through the CMS. So the company that, the bid was awarded to is Compass Minerals. And, from past practice, there's actually different prices for different yards around, whether it be the state or county or whatever, but our price for Marion will be $74.08. And that would be for a 600-ton contract. We have to take 80% of that, and we can go as much as 120% of that contract, so there's a little flexibility, so. But I'd make a motion to approve the purchase of this salt, and we intend to get it delivered and hope we don't have to use any, but we probably will, so. That'd be my motion.
Did you say a max of 120% on the 600 ton?
Yeah.
Is there any expectation, well, I didn't mean to interrupt your question. Is there an expectation on price? What happens if it does go beyond 120%? Are we held hostage?
We'd probably have to talk individually to this company, but that, kind of through the state CMS, this is what we're hooked in at, but we could probably get some more. I know past experience at the county, we've run into that situation with some other municipalities, and we've traded some salt back and forth. They had some they didn't need, and we could purchase. So there's some flexibility there we could do with other municipalities if we needed to as well.
Is there a second on that motion? Somebody second it?
No.
I'll second that.
Am I imagining, did we have a lot of salt left over from the 2 winters ago? And then did we use it all up last year because it was so rough?
Yeah,
Is that-
we used quite a bit last year.
Do you recall how much we had to buy last year? Since I think we had a stockpile.
Yeah, I'm not, I think it was around 400 tons. Somehow we got left off the state bid last year, so he talked to him individually and was able to get some salt, so, at the same price, so.
Okay. Did this line up with whatever our budget line was for the salt? I mean,
Yes.
did it
Yeah.
pretty much anticipated?
Yeah, that's a pretty good price. I've seen it as much as $120, $130 a ton, so it's came down, from years past a little bit.
That's
I can
about the-
also remember when it was
about the
probably
only-
$30 a ton. so.
Yeah.
We still purchase the liquid stuff too, right?
Yeah, we make that through a brining.
Make that?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the same salt, you just run water through it, and
gotcha.
reaches certain parts per million, and it's ready for the road, so.
Okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Also under street department, do you want to discuss this, or you want Glenn to discuss it, or?
Well, I'll talk a little, and Glenn, you can correct me if I get off base, but we had some roads down around the lake project that was, we took jurisdiction of back years ago, and We decided to transfer that jurisdiction back to Johnson County. In order to do that, they wanted some minimum maintenance done on those roads, and this is part of it. This was for oil and chipping of a portion of Wagon Creek Road. We're going to use gas tax for it, and I think the price is $11,519.13. This comes out of our gas tax, but basically we had to do this to get them to take the roads back under their jurisdiction. So, anything else to add, Glenn?
No, we couldn't force him to take it.
Right.
And the county superintendent down there said he would take it if we did A, B, and C. So we had to put some patching material down first, and we came along and put a two-coat seal over the roads. And then he said, then we had to clean some brush off of one part of the road. And then he said, there'd be a jurisdictional transfer officially, but we still got one item to go. And that's to remove, 2 rusted out corrugated metal pipes and put in 2 precast concrete culvert boxes in that, which we already have at the street department. Once that's done, we'll finish with Johnson County. We agreed to accept it.
Okay.
That's pretty common on jurisdictional transfers to, you don't want to take something over maintenance and cost you a bunch the first few years. So most anybody that would take a road in would want to make sure it was up to standard. So it's you hate to spend that money, but it's kind of a common practice to do so.
How long of a road is this? How big?
Do you know, Glenn, it was a few sections.
Not quite a mile on Wagon Creek,
Yeah.
not quite a mile.
So will we need, once that culvert project is done, will we need a subsequent action by the council on this jurisdictional
Jurisdictional transfer, which IDOT's got the forms for.
Okay,
Transfer the maintenance back to Johnson County, from Marion to Johnson County.
okay,
So when we annex that, we automatically got the road. When we de-annex it, it stays with us. Because you de-annex your property, the maintenance of the road stays with us. So we de-annexed the property down at the lake. But we stayed with, the road stayed with us.
okay.
So this gets rid of it, and it's a big chore for Doug to take all the equipment stuff and drive 12 miles down there and try to take care of the road.
Okay.
I will put that in form of a motion to pay Johnson County for maintenance of Wagon Creek Road using the gas tax. At a sum of $11,519.13.
I would second that.
Okay, any other questions? Seems like a good deal to get rid of that responsibility then. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay?
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Under Public Affairs, item 8A, I want to explain this one a little bit to the council, remind you, and I may need Wendy's help, make sure I've got the terminology right. Before this council was seated, the city council signed a lease with Greater Egypt Regional Planning Commission to build their, what was going to be their office building out there east of the pavilion. That lease is, by the letter of that lease, is assignable. We basically have to approve it. We already did approve, Wendy, am I right, the subletting of that lease to the new tenant, and now they are wanting to convey the lease. Assign the lease, I'm sorry.
Greater Egypt sublet the property previously to someone else, and that had already been approved. This is now transferring or assigning the lease. So it no longer be a sublease, they're actually assigning all of the lessee's rights over to this new Millennium Destination Development.
Which the agreement says we shall not reasonably withhold anyway, so I mean, it's just sort of a technicality, and just for,
Basically nothing in the original lease agreement that would prohibit you guys from approving this.
okay. And this has such a negligible effect anyway, because they leased the land from us for $1. So it's literally cost us more to print the thing here than it's worth, but nonetheless, that's what this is, and that's my motion to approve, to consent to the assignment of a ground lease from Greater Egypt Regional Planning Commission to Millennium Destination Development LLC, who is now the tenant of, or the operator of that building.
I'll second that.
Okay. Not sure why we did that deal to begin with. Lease the land. I thought it was a strange location for that. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Building's built, so. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Wendy, can you discuss this item? Just, again, I know, can't see it, okay. I think this is just routine, but sounds kind of mean.
This doesn't really change anything that we aren't already doing. All this basically says is that we are required to follow the Local Records Act and the destruction schedules as laid out by the Local Records Commission, which we already do, and we already are following the Local Records Act. This just puts it in a written form. The only thing new here, and this is the reason why this is a kind of a recommendation of IML to put this in place. And one of the reasons they recommended is because the only thing that's really new or different here is there's now a new retention policy for the police department to keep complaints on file permanently under the new Criminal Reform and Safety Act. So that was one of the new things added in. So that's why IML recommended that cities enact this just to kind of put it on paper. Even though we're already doing it in practice, it just now puts it on paper. Nothing will really change with anything that our departments are already doing with their records retention.
So is this the Municipal League's model ordinance for
Yes.
basically?
It is, yes.
Okay. Did they have a model ordinance before? Or this is new?
I think this is something new because of the change that was made with the Criminal Reform
Okay.
Act. That's why they created this, to add that in.
Okay. Okay. Somebody want to make that one?
I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 3757, adopting a new record retention policy.
Second that.
Okay, any further questions of Wendy or discussion of it? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 8C, let me explain this a little bit for clarity's sake. I know in the past few meetings we have discussed and approved a budget for improving the center square around the tower. That's the fountain project and the new pavement, new benches and that kind of thing. That's not what this is. We also applied for and received 2 separate grants that deal with the larger, literally the square, not the round part in the center, and the side streets that come onto the square for a block or so, plus or minus, right, Brian? That has to do with making sure that, among many things, our sidewalks are all ADA compliant, some new lighting, street lighting and things. The bigger piece of it is upgrading of water and sewer all the way around the square, which a lot of it is, I don't want to say it's original to the square, but it's very, very old. Yeah. So as more businesses and things locate up here, that was going to ultimately be a concern at some point. So, and then what is visible to most people would be the pavement treatment on the square and the sides, or I guess mainly the square, which has to do with taking the radii, is that the plural of radiuses? Radii, for the sole, not the sole purpose, but the traffic purpose of narrowing that lane a little bit, which Commissioner Steckland can attest to when we tried to walk across just before the meeting, hopefully slows down some traffic on the square and makes it a little less Frogger-like. But what's going to be really cool about those pavement areas, those radii, is that they're going to be treated with not just asphalt. They'll be. I don't think it's been determined yet whether they'll be stamped concrete or pavers, but it'll be something that'll be color coordinated with the center part of the square. That will also allow the removable bollards to be installed on occasions that you might want to cordon off one corner or the other for a certain event, or if the restaurants wanted to have dining spill out onto that area. But again, I have to say this because I keep saying it every time this touchy subject comes up. We're not talking about removing any of the parking in that area. It's just going to be a different pavement treatment in that area. So the total of, there's two different grants that we applied for, a $2 million ITEP, which is Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, and STU, which I don't remember what that stands. Okay, so the net result of that was there's a local share with that, but the total grant was about just a little over $2.9 million for this effort. We do have a little bit, 20% share on one, and then we'll have a couple of $100,000 above that share on our local part. But nonetheless, the vast majority of this is paid for, and will change the square much to the better. So as what this is engaging Brian's firm with the engineering agreement to start all that work so that we can get to the point where we let those things out for bid. So it's not all designed yet and put into place. We've had public hearings and showed concepts of things. That's all got to be narrowed down to the feasibility part of it, make sure we can do all that. But that's what my motion is to approve this engineering agreement in your packet with IDOT for the ITEP and STU project related to downtown renovations.
I would second that.
Brian, do you have any more input on any of that, or kind of give us an expectation of timelines and things?
Well, we do, part of that contract is the phase one, but part of it is an intersection design study, like we've talked about before, with some of the medians and some of the narrowing and trying to slow traffic down. We'll do an intersection design study, all the environmental any concerns, we gotta get clearances for that, all our geometry will be cleared. That's phase one, and then the design part of that. So by the time you make that all through the IDOT process, it's gonna be probably next fall before we're able to put that.
So that would be a construction project in 2023 as well?
Probably starting, fall of 22, we'll probably wrap into, 23. Probably most of 23 is because of all the different, moving traffic around, getting off this area, it's gonna be kind of a lot of coordination.
So have we been awarded the grant, the 2 point? So we have been awarded.
We have. Yeah, we got pretty lucky. Or fortunate, I don't know, lucky, but we're very fortunate. Okay. Is there a second to my motion?
I'll second.
Or did it, was it second?
There was a second.
There was a second?
Commissioner Barwick
All right,
seconded it.
forget that. We thirded it. Any other questions of Brian or comments on it? Will you come back from time to time and kind of give us an update on what things are looking like timeline-wise and stuff? And we've got a lot of coordination with the business owners to take into consideration and give them a heads up on some stuff.
This is more than just a road, we wanna coordinate that as much as we can too, but there's nothing pretty about that. There's gonna be a lot of, we've already had several meetings about lights and what's the bollard look like and stuff, so it gets in a little more detail than just it's curb and gutter, we know what curb and gutter looks like. So we're gonna have meetings along the way, and so we can kind of pick and choose what's the time to update the council whenever you like, because we're gonna be back in touch with you again, Mayor, on, we're gonna have options for stamped concrete versus colored concrete.
Okay.
That kind of thing, so we can just coordinate when it'd be time to update the council.
Okay, very good. Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yes, and I wish it wasn't a year and a half away. Okay, it's that time of year again that we have health insurance renewal, and Cody, as usual, is tasked with going through all the detail of this, so I'll just turn it over to him to discuss what's in your packet here.
So the total increase, just to get down to brass tacks, the total increase is just shy of $100,000, about 96,000 or so. And that's mainly because there's our first bill that we'll receive from Blue Cross will come with a $100,000 credit on it, and I don't know if that's a COVID-specific credit or what they're doing, but That's not something that we rely on every year. Last year, I think it was only like 50,000 for that credit. So that's helping offset those costs a little bit. Our total increase, that 96,000 represents about 2.19 or 2.2% increase over last year's. This sheet in your packet that's got the highlighted numbers on it, that top row would be this year's rates looking forward. That bottom row, starting with the column that has the red in it, would be that's the current year's rates. So increases across the board aren't huge by any means. The fact that we were on a pace for a much larger increase, at the end of the day, I feel like this is a pretty competitive rate. We were increasing 5 to 6% a year. So in a year where we actually had quite a few more claims last year, Blue Cross was pretty kind to us. So all things considered.
On that credit and stuff, from a functional standpoint, does it matter how they got there? I mean, is it kind of six and one half dozen of the other from our standpoint?
Different theories about how we arrive at these rates and how those are factored in. Honestly, we should probably do a little more negotiating with Blue Cross on how they're coming to some of these numbers. But at the end of the day, it's simpler just to ask for this credit and receive it, and that's how we get to this number. So.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised that it's that little, to be honest. Does it surprise you from your industry?
Greatly, yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Ours about 15%.
Your health insurance went up 15?
With Blue Cross.
Really?
Yeah. So this is a really good rate. Maybe it's because of the sheer size of what we're doing here, but
Well, that could go either way, though. That could hurt
Yeah,
you.
we have about 185
Yeah.
employees on the plan.
Well, that's probably the lowest clip of an increase since we've been here
Yeah,
anyway.
definitely. Since
Yeah.
we're here, yeah.
Without,
I know we didn't put this out for bids again, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Do we have that on a schedule to do that every other year?
Yeah. We've kind of, Jessica and I have kind of looked at claims throughout the year just to try and get an idea prior to this renewal coming in to see if we think we're going to get walloped or not, technical term. But all things considered, decent year. I mean, obviously with COVID, there were some increased claims, but for the most part, our exposures weren't too bad this year, so we decided to roll the dice with just the renewal. Unfortunately, our claims have grown to a point to where the competitive bidding process is probably not super competitive, but I do think it would be a good practice to bid this every couple of years nonetheless.
I agree.
well, let's for sure do that this next go around and make sure we get. I know what the challenge is from meetings in the past is I know lots of employees, even I heard this before the election, it's like, why are our claims so high? Because they look at somebody else's and they don't pay that much. It's pretty straightforward and simple. In the insurance industry, I think they call it overutilization. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it, but put simply is our claims are almost always a whole lot more than the premium that we pay in. And what I'm mentioning there is until we can figure out a wellness program or incentives, it sounds obvious, but it's very hard to implement sometimes. Until there's an incentive or a cheaper way for them not to use the insurance, we don't stand a big chance, in my opinion, of getting just some outside company to go, get all excited about our plan, as long as our claims are exceeding what our current premiums are being paid in.
And we've tried to get creative coming up with solutions that, would be unique to the city, like going down the road of our own clinic or something like that. And just because of our overutilization, it's almost impossible for us to do something like that and it make any financial sense whatsoever.
Does Blue Cross have any programs that we can tap onto?
Not specifically as designed with wellness. We'd have to get creative and kind of mix and match some programs, which we are looking at. But from the fully insured standpoint, which we are, we would really need to go to more of a self-insured plan, and we can't literally, we cannot afford to do that at this
Yeah.
point, so.
I just know through our company with Blue Cross Blue Shield, we have a wellness program. And part of it is employees who agree to a couple health screenings, agree to this
Yeah.
or that, they get credits back through their HSA or FSA,
Yeah.
things like that.
We don't have an HSA, so that's where
Right,
that,
right.
that's where we'd have to mix and match a little bit.
Is that something that we could ever offer as one of the options through Blue Cross and have a high deductible plan with an HSA? As
Well, the trade-off to that
Or is
is,
that all specified in the contract?
well, we could offer that in addition to what we already offer, but the reality is, if those folks are gonna come off of our normal plan, the ones that probably don't utilize insurance a whole lot,
Right.
that actually makes our plan look worse.
Gotcha.
Because they're kind of counterbalanced with the folks that
Gotcha.
don't utilize the plan. So
Right.
the trade-off there, while it sounds good, is probably not good financially.
True. All in all, it's pretty decent.
Well, it feels like we dodged a bullet, and sort of, but I mean, there is even with that being said, there is there's a reckoning for the city with this at some point. Our health insurance costs are continually eating up a larger and larger portion of our budget, and some of that is just the state of the industry, and I don't know that we can affect that, but we do need to look for some options, some creative ways to lessen our cost that aren't detrimental to the employees somehow. I don't know what those are, and I know we've gone over several different things.
Have we ever done a study to look where the biggest spend is?
Yes.
We have done it. What did we find out? Is it emergency room visits? Is it hospitalizations? Is it surgeries? Is it
Between pharmaceuticals and,
darn pharmaceuticals?
yeah, and the occasional, we have several, I'm going to use the term crazy claims. We have several very high claims that are somewhat isolated to themselves. I mean, it's not like a recurring thing, but there are some recurring charges out there that kind of add up. And I can get into that.
Well, look, you brought pharmaceuticals up, which I know about. So that goes through Blue Cross, I'm assuming, through their plan.
Yeah, or is that a CVS plan or is that a
Walgreens?
it's Walgreens? Okay.
My question on that is do they have any type, I'm sure they probably have tier 1, tier 2 type products and stuff like that already built into that.
Yeah.
Do they have somebody looking at that going, hey, you know what? Jim Bob here is on this medication, but if that got switched to that medication, it would be going from $600 a month to $55 a month. And they're in the same drug class, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
I don't know
something
if that-
John looks at or not.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be something to, if that's our biggest spend.
It's one of our bigger spends.
Yeah. No, something we could maybe look into.
Well, and with the wellness program, so instituting something like that is only going to add to our premium costs if there is an additional cost out there for that. So that's something that we'd have to take a leap of faith on at some point if we want to institute a wellness program, in the hopes that on the backside it would reduce our claim exposure.
Right.
So, at some point we might have to spend money to see if we can save some money.
But the rub comes if it doesn't work.
The rub
Then
comes
you've
if it
just spent
doesn't
more
work.
money.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a leap of faith.
But, early detection of things would be the argument for the wellness program.
yeah.
But,
Well, we've always done healthcare backwards in this country.
Yeah.
Always. We wait for the problem, then we treat it instead of stopping it,
Yeah.
starting. So
but this is the smallest increase in the
Yep.
3 healthcare years that we've been here now.
What's your pleasure, guys?
I would make a motion to approve the healthcare insurance renewal as stated.
Second?
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin?
Yay.
Mayor Absher?
Yay. Under Commissioner reports, Jim, you want to start tonight?
Yeah, a big thing for streets right now is that we started the fall cleanup today. It'll run through the 19th of November on a Friday, so there's some different postings around, tells you what parts of town they're going to be in. So Cemetery, we had 15 burials in the month of October, 2 lots sold. They've been working, in the street department's loaned them a few guys. They've been, for Veterans Day coming up, we've been trying to trim all the markers in the ground and around all the graves, so we got that complete. So cemetery's looking good, so appreciate everybody's hard work on that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
John?
Since last council, Water Department reported 8 new service taps, 3 water main breaks, 10 services updated. They've installed 500 feet of the new 6-inch water main on the end of Quail Run, installed 2 new fire hydrants. For the month of October, we had a total of 313 Julie location calls, of which 26 priority zeros, which means we have 2 hours to respond to the call, 286 normal locations, which gives us 313 for the month. Reminder, Veterans Day is this Thursday, the 11th. Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge, in honor of Veterans Day, will be waiving all vehicle and boat fees for that day, so hopefully it's a day like today. Thanks to all who have served our country for that. November 13th, come out and support local charities at the 12th Annual Chili Cook-Off. This is going to be held at the Marion Elks right off the square. Armbands are $10 an adult and $5 per child. And last but not least, I want to just give a big shout out to everybody that was involved with the Spooktacular out at Rent 1. It was a phenomenal success. So once again, kudos to the police department, everybody that worked out there, and everybody else involved in it. So,
John?
all I have.
Want to add to that, the fire department was there also, so they did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
For the month of October, the fire department had 14 100 series fire calls. They had 8 rescue and EMS calls, 14 hazardous conditions with no fire. They had 16 service calls, 12 good intent calls, 25 activated alarms, for a total of 89. And just in case anyone's keeping record, they used a total of 6,038 gallons of water on their calls.
You're welcome.
Send them a bill.
Oh, they'll get a bill. Not really.
For the Marion Police Department, for the month of October, there were 81 city ordinance violations, 26 warrant arrests, 414 incidents reported, 180 traffic accidents, and 14 DUI arrests. Dispatch had 6,927 dispatched calls, 2,522 911 calls, and 320 ambulance calls. Marion Police Department Narcotics Unit for the month of October had 78 cases initiated, 58 arrests, 22 arrest warrants. There were 57 traffic citations with paraphernalia, petty misdemeanors, and city ordinance violations. There were 6 controlled purchases. 26 doses of controlled substance were purchased, 374.8 grams of cannabis, 4,825.8 grams of methamphetamine, 4 firearms were seized, 2 aggravated fleeing to elude arrests were made, 2.4 grams of cocaine, 2 search warrants, and 3.2 grams of MDMA. The detective unit had a total of 53 cases for the month, and that ranged from 5 burglaries, 4 death investigations, 5 forgery, 3 missing persons, 10 theft, 2 theft of motor vehicles, and 9 vehicle burglaries. And there were several other unlawful use of weapons, damage to property, things like that. Animal Control had 104 calls for the month of October. 28 of those were for lost animals, 39 for animals at large, and 7 were aggressive. They took 26 dogs in, 8 were reclaimed, 8 were rescued, 2 were adopted, 35 cats, total calls 276, total animals taken in were 63. And again, as we approach Christmas, if anyone is thinking of getting an animal, a dog or a cat for a Christmas present, be sure and check out Animal Control and maybe adopt one of our dogs or cats that we have there. And that is all I have.
Would the boxes have holes in them so they could?
They will. They'll come with a box with holes in it. And
Would we be willing to provide those?
we could probably do
I
that.
think we could.
with a little bow on top.
There you go. Doug?
I don't have anything, sorry.
Got a email with some updates of note from Club 60, formerly the Senior Citizen Center. She wanted to make sure to shout out Chief Barnett at the fire department and Fireman Brock and Jesse for coming this past Friday to lunch to educate the seniors about smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors, fire extinguishers, safe use of space heaters, and the hyper reach alert system. Also wanted everybody to know that tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1, they're having the COVID booster vaccines from Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson for all who qualify, in addition to flu shots. So again, those are both the boosters and the flu shots are available at Club 60 Tuesday, November 9th from 10 until 1. That's the second time we've been able to have that booster clinic there. Medicare enrollment is in full swing until December 7th. She wanted me to remind everyone that they're offering free in-person Medicare counseling and help to enroll with anyone that needs it or have questions, and to announce that they will be honoring the veterans on Wednesday the 10th with a ceremony at lunch that's officiated by Ken Hilliard, himself a retired E9 Air Force veteran with 27 years of service. Anything else to come before the council in regular session tonight?
Chief has none.
Oh, Chief?
Yes, sir. I want to let everyone know that we have announced the dates for Cops and Kids. Anyone that doesn't know what Cops and Kids is, nationally it's known as Shop with a Cop. Here it's Cops and Kids. So December 7th and 9th, Marion Walmart at 5 p.m. December 8th, Heron Walmart, 5 p.m. And December 11th, Heron Walmart at 9 a.m.
So in Marion, it's the 7th and 9th. At what time?
Marion 7th and 9th, 5 p.m.
At Walmart.
Yes, sir. Heron is December 8th at 5 p.m. and December 11th. That's a Saturday at 9 a.m. Applications to be considered or to be picked to participate in this can be picked up at our police department. Anybody that would like to donate, contact the PD, ask for Detective Eggemeyer or Sergeant Francis, and anybody that would like to volunteer, also contact the PD. We always need help with that. It's a very, very worthwhile program, and we appreciate anything we can get.
When you say donate, obviously that must mean cash since you're going to Walmart to buy the gifts, right?
That's correct.
So where, is it all donation based, or do you raise money some other way through the year for this? Do you have a pool already?
The FOP goes to businesses and other organizations to get money, but we also do take in donations from the public.
Okay, so where, are you on track for where you need to be relative to that, or do we need to be appealing for some more funds?
We're close to on track. It wouldn't hurt to appeal.
Okay.
That always helps.
Okay.
Because the way this works is we spend $100 per child. So once the money runs out, then we have to cut off the kids that can come. So the more money we have, the more children that are able to go shopping.
Okay. And when people can apply by picking up an application, is that only and obviously it's picking it up at Marion PD, but we're going to Heron Walmart too, so does that mean Heron's kids
Yes.
can participate?
Kids anywhere in the county.
Countywide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is the application only available in person, or can you get it, is it on the PD website by any chance?
Is it?
Well, I mean, maybe you don't want it to be, I don't know. I'm just asking.
That would be great.
Okay.
And people, that way they can download it and print it off at home.
Easy peasy?
And I want to thank everybody that helped us Spooktacular. We estimated somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 people came through. That's a lot of candy. So
95% of dentists wanted to thank you too.
I bet they did. But anyway, to pull that off, it took a whole lot of help, and we really appreciate it. And we hope you will all keep us in mind next year when bring it back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
One more thing.
Okay.
If you haven't been on North Court Street across from the fire department lately to see the new mural that's going up, it's a tribute to our law enforcement, our fire department, and also the military. And I don't know what the girl's name is that took that project.
Maddie Dieters.
Doing a tremendous job as you're heading south on Court Street and you approach the building. The way that she has painted the eagle's head into that building, it's kind of on both sides of the building. It's really, really a neat mural. Just, if you get a chance, if you haven't seen that, try to get out and go by and take a look at that. It's not quite finished yet, but it's just about. Her?
Cody said.
Cody thinks she finished today.
Did you finish today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very talented.
That's cool, yeah.
That was a privately commissioned mural, by the way. That city was not involved in that one, but that's our largest yet by leaps and bounds. And I'm still just constantly impressed. She's 14 years old. It just blows my mind that she's that talented. So,
I want to thank the Boy Scouts for coming. I hope you learned something. I know you were forced to sit here, but was this really as exciting as you thought it would be?
It wasn't that bad, was it?
Huh?
Was it that bad?
We do have 3 of you on film sleeping a little bit in the middle of this. I'm not gonna call you out here, but
Oh, I did want to point out, since you mentioned Boy Scouts, Tyler Hughes's project is complete as far as the brackets being installed on not all of the poles. We had some symmetry issues to work with. I think there's 26 of them that are installed. And I think Wednesday evening he will come out and put the American flags out there. So if you probably haven't noticed because the brackets are black, obviously, and the light poles are black. But I'm excited to see that Wednesday night and Thursday morning and seeing the flags flying around the square. I think there'll be 26 of them. So that was a neat project to see come true. So, how many of you guys are going to have Eagle Scout projects?
None of them yet. Yes.
Wrong answer. Please consider City of Marion on your projects when you come to that point. We would appreciate your thoughts on that effort. I just need to put you on speed dial. Whatever you guys can think of, we probably would be agreeable to, because I don't think you'll come up with anything that's not appropriate, but I would appreciate your help on anything that you deem worthy and that you're passionate about. But I'd be seriously happy to support the Eagle Scout projects and write letters and things like that to help you get that award. So, anything else to come before the council? Okay, we do have a need for an executive session pertaining to property and personnel, and that would be my motion that we enter into executive session for those purposes. But before a second, I want to remind the public that we will not make any decisions in there or any votes in there or anything. That's not how that works. And when we come back into open session, if there's anybody left here, we will do nothing but adjourn. So you're welcome to stay while we do that, but you'll be in here by yourself. So completely up to you. But that's my motion to enter into executive session for property and personnel.
second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay.